My cliche statement, why are we surprised when women in crisis act like they're in crisis? When you're in crisis, you might be angry. When you're in crisis, you're definitely probably going to be emotional. You may cry, you may have a tantrum, you may scream, you may yell. That's normal. And so if we're expecting our residents to come into our offices and have conversations with us that are like a conversation like this, we're delusional. Sometimes that will happen.
Yeah.
And sometimes that won't, and that has to be okay. And so what I say to advocates at the Crisis Center in the training process, people will come to you and they will be angry. That's okay. Create a safe space for them to be angry. Validate their right to be angry. You don't have to change it. When they come in, they're not going to be mad at you. If they went to court and the outcome was not the outcome that they were hoping for, you didn't do anything. You weren't even there. But when they come back and they're angry, they need to process that, create that space that they can. And so a lot of it is listening. Close your mouth, listen with your ears. Don't sit there and don't do that kind of thing. Give someone the ability just to say what they need to say and then respond accordingly. The problem is sometimes we get ourselves involved. We allow ourselves to emotionally receive blame or accusation or whatever else. And so the difficult thing that we have as advocates is not to personalize that. You're not mad at me. If someone says, screaming and yelling, I'm mad at you because you're not, let's really get to the root of that. They have a right to be angry with you. And what I say to our employees, I hold you to a higher standard than I hold the residents coming in the shelter. And so when they come in and they are upset and they do say that they're upset, they have the right to do that. Respond accordingly. If you're getting angry or if they're over the top, if their reaction becomes accusatory or confrontational in your direction, then that's when you practice healthy conflict resolution. And we've all learned about it. And what I would literally do in that scenario is I say, stop it. You can't talk to me like that right now. Why don't you leave for a minute? And when you're done being angry, come back and talk, and we'll try to process through this some more. But then I have to do my job.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't come back and talk, and I'm like, oh good, dodge that bullet, I know there's something wrong with that person. So my job at some point, and it's not follow them out the door and follow them wherever they go. Sometimes people need a space to be left alone and to cool off, but at some point, you need to touch base with that person. Be it tomorrow, be it later tonight, be it Thursday, whatever it happens to be, you still need to follow through with that and say, last time we talked, I noticed that you were upset.
Yeah.
Is there anything I can do today? And all that does is reinforce you have the right to feel your feelings, and I'm not going to not talk to you because you felt your feelings. Now what can I do to help you process through that?
Yeah.
It's not hard. We make it so much harder than it has to be. I mean, I'm baffled constantly about scenarios that I hear where I say, did you talk to them? Well, no. I don't understand. Like, it literally makes me do the Kramer. Like, you didn't talk to them? Like, I don't understand. Like, because I liken it so much to parenting. If my child came to me and, I'm not going to talk to you, okay, but I'm not going to let that go. Like, at some point, I need to touch base with you and see if you're okay. And I feel like if we're trying to build trust and respectful rapport, I've got to follow up with that.